up, Nashville? All right, it's good to see it. Poetry, yeah. Don't go to sleep yet. I know how people react to poetry. But what I want to do here today with you is I want to talk not just about poetry, but I want to talk about the history of two women that were born into slavery and who persevered to become some of the biggest stars of the 19th century. They were differently abled, they were smart, they were talented, they were ingenious, they were disciplined. They were Millie and Christine McCoy. Now, Millie and Christine McCoy were born in Welch's Creek, North Carolina in 1851 to Mimonia McCoy and her husband Jacob on the McCay plantation run by John McCay. They are pygopagous twins. They have separate arms, separate legs, and they were joined through the trunk, okay? Now, the poems that I'm gonna present to you today are what I like to call syncopated sonnets. And what they try and do is they try and bring two voices together to talk individually and also to share a conversation, to share lines in the middle. So I'm gonna take you through a few poems about the McCoy twins. Y'all down with that? Yeah. All right, here we go. Now, this poem, simply Millie and Christine McCoy. And if we read down the left side, we can read Millie's lines. And if we read down the middle, we can read the lines that they share together. And if we read down the right side, we can read the lines of Christine. So I'm gonna read these out for you real quick, all right? Millie. We've mended two songs into one dark skin, bleeding soprano into contralto, descended from raw carnage of the South, bursting open our freedom. We sing past rage to the work song's aria. It leaves us soaked in history like our fathers' sweat from plantation to grave. Lord, here we are, free twin sisters who've hauled our voices far. Follow that? And now on the other side, we have Christine. We ride the wake of each other's rhythm, beating our heart's syncopated tempo with a music all our own, with our mouths seeped in the glow of hand-me-down courage, drenched in spiritual acapellas, flowing soul from bone through skin. We pay debts from broken chattel to circus stars. We sing straight from this nation's barbed-wired heart. And if they were to sing a duet, because they became very well known for their singing, it might sound like this. We've mended, I'm not gonna sing it for you though. We've mended two songs into one dark skin. We ride the wake of each other's rhythm, bleeding soprano into contralto, beating our heart's syncopated tempo. We're fused in blood and body from one thrummed stem, budding twin blooms of song. We're a doubled rose, descended from raw carnage of the South with a music all our own. With our mouths bursting open our freedom, we sing past rage, seeped in the glow of hand-me-down courage grown from hard labor that made our mothers shout, spent with awe. We hymn to pay soft homage to the work song's aria. It leaves us drenched in spiritual acapellas, soaked in history like our fathers' sweat, flowing soul from bone through skin. We pay debts born of and beyond the flesh. We are just two women singing truths we can't forget from plantation to grave. Lord, here we are, from broken chattel to circus stars, freed twin sisters who've hauled our voices far. We sing straight from this nation's barbed-wired heart. Now, some people would look upon Millie Christine, as they were called, and tried to evince some kind of pity. But they did not feel pity for themselves at all. They were very proud of the form that they came to this earth in. They had a lot of love for the gifts that they were given in their family and their music. And this poem is an attempt to explore that. So Perhaps they would say something like this with Millie Christine's love story. If we were to read right down the middle, you might read with them in unison saying, here, this is our story I want you to hear. One body crooning two notes. By God, we are airborne, shook and shimmering through my head in a way very few could comprehend. With every breath we've got, I'm filled completely. I love my song and dance and family. I love this burden that we've been given to ride the shared wake of one blood's rhythm. Now, they might also come to us and say something like this. To ride the shared wake of one blood's rhythm. I love this burden that we've been given. The way you love your own blood, twice as much. I've doubled the cause to celebrate life. I love my song and dance and family the way any other human would love. I live each day like I won't see its night with every breath we've got. I'm filled completely with souls ablaze. This is how I know love, so you can see my life is brimmed, it's full, in a way very few could comprehend, with Christine's voice at my side. I have sung with Millie's embracing contrapuntal, airborne, shook and shimmering through my head like sympathetic strings. Each sung sound ringing within me and my other half, one body crooning two notes. By God, we're our own duet. Listen to how we're bound in unison. Listen to the grace we have. Here, this is our story I want you to hear. Now, Millie Christine had a lot of problems to overcome, obviously. Their owner, John McCoy, thought that he had a problem because what was he going to do with Pygopagus twins? They weren't going to be much help around the plantation. They weren't going to be very valuable. But he struck upon an idea. He would lease them out and have them traveled around the country as kind of an attraction. So that's what he did. He found people that would take them for a fee, and they would take them and tour them around the country as freak show attractions. And essentially, they changed hands from subleaser to subleaser to subleaser. They ended up in the custody, so to speak, or the management of a guy named John Smith. And the twins were stolen from him and taken to England because somebody thought they could make a buck off the McCoy twins. And John Smith had to get Monomia, their mother, and go over to England to get the children back. So Monomia was in a predicament. She had to leave a country where slavery was thriving, go to a country where slavery had been abolished, claim her children, and then come back to her other 7 children in slavery. And this next poem is about that. Millie Christine are kidnapped. Straight from America's barbed-wired heart, at the age of 3, we've been kidnapped afar. We've been stolen from mother and master, absconded. The thief's greed had set us free. Although bonded, we'd earned a London court sympathy, and thus we returned to a master we could trust. Our mother left England and went back south, straight into Dixie's rebellious mouth. And we can read it going up, too. Straight into Dixie's rebellious mouth, our mother left England and went back south, choosing between homeland and untold harms. We returned to a master we could trust. We sailed back to our Carolina home. We'd earned a London court sympathy, and thus, though we missed our family, were we not blessed? The thief's greed had set us free. Although bonded from slavery, we'd slipped into liberty. We'd been stolen from mother and master, absconded, imported by a scallywag agent at the age of 3. We'd been kidnapped afar. We'd been rented and sold, then snatched, taken like double dark treasures. Entertainment straight from America's barbed-wired heart. Now, you can read these poems basically choosing whichever way you would like to go, up and down, as long as the lines will connect. And now, one other problem that the McCoy sisters had was that every time they went to a new town, every time they went along the circus route or the freak show route, especially in their early years, they were inspected by doctors, sometimes teams of doctors, in order to be verified that they weren't frauds, in order to verify that their manager wasn't putting something over on the crowd. So they went through inspection after inspection after inspection of the rudest sort that you can imagine. Eventually, they got together a sheaf of affidavits from doctors that testified to the fact that they were conjoined twins, and they did not have to subject themselves to that kind of inspection. But this poem is about that. Millie Christine on display. We count the blessings of our doubled shell as we pay our dues. We've proven ourselves for science. We've been taken town to town like prize bovine. We've been pawed up and down. Each sawbone has searched us from spine to loin. Our wondrous oneness exists. We're conjoined. We're not frauds, but born of providence. God mended two souls into one dark skin. God mended two souls into one dark skin. We're not frauds, but born of providence. And we've lists of doctors who understand our miracle is real. Hear and see this. Our wondrous oneness exists. We're conjoined. We've been probed, prodded, and roughly examined from backbone to backbone, from hip to hip. Each sawbone has searched us from spine to loin, from my twin's navel to between her thighs, and then back up, staring into my eyes like prize bovine. We've been pawed up and down, been photographed, half nude, verified to prove veracity. They've scanned each side for science. We've been taken town to town to those who doubt our form. We have performed on display. We've been richly, rudely paid as we pay our dues. We've proven ourselves with each breath. We prove we've endured face storm every time we rise to face the crowd's face. We count the blessings of our doubled shell. Now, eventually, they became really big stars. They toured the world in front of princes, in front of kings, in front of Queen Victoria. They were out of the country for quite a number of years, touring around, and they were able to get a little bit of bank and put it aside. As a matter of fact, they were able to buy the land that their master once held and move their mother and father to that land, and then retire on that land in the 1880s, where they lived the rest of their lives. They ended up being the longest living Pygopagus twins at that time. They lived to the ripe old age of 61. Okay? And this poem is about that. Millie Christine by land. We're free twin sisters who've hauled our voices far. We're singing in drei Sprach und machen es schwarz. Now, my German is rusty, but my understanding is that means we sing in three languages and make it black. We speak more than one tongue. Wherever we roam, this gift's pure gold. While we travel the road with dimes hoarded by pinching francs and pounds against servitude, we sing freedom bound with duets all mingled up to heaven. We've brought land that once enslaved our parents. We've brought land that once enslaved our parents with duets all mingled up to heaven against servitude. We sing freedom bound with dimes hoarded by pinching francs and pounds. This gift's pure gold. While we travel the road, we speak more than one tongue. Wherever we roam, we're singing in drei Sprach und machen es schwarz. We are free twin sisters who've hauled our voices far. Now, this has been a series of 5 poems. When you look at the end of each poem, either the ending line or the beginning line, is a reflection of a poem that lies in the center. And it looks a little like this when it's all laid out. And what you can do with this poem is you can read it from the top left-hand corner all the way down to the bottom right, and you can read it from the bottom left-hand corner all the way out to the upper right. So I'm going to do that last thing real quick. I'm not going to read every line, don't worry. All right, here we go. On display. We count the blessings of our doubled shell as we pay our dues. We've proven ourselves for science. We've been taken town to town like prize bovine. We've been pawed up and down. Each sawbone has searched us from spine to loin. Our wondrous oneness exists. We are conjoined. We're not frauds, but born of providence. God mended two souls into one dark skin. And in the next poem, we've mended two songs into one dark skin, right? Bleeding soprano into contralto, we're fused in blood and body from one thrum stem, budding twin blooms of song. We're a double rose grown from hard labor that made our mother shout, spent with awe. We hymn to pay soft homage, born of and beyond the flesh. We are just two women singing truths we can't forget, from broken chattel to circus stars. We sing straight from this nation's barbed-wired heart. Straight from America's barbed-wired heart. At the age of 3, we've been kidnapped afar. We've been stolen from mother and master. Absconded, the thief's greed had set us free. Although bonded, we'd earned a London court sympathy, and thus we returned to a master we could trust. Our mother left England and went back south, straight into Dixie's rebellious mouth. That was one diagonal. Here's the other one. We've brought land that once enslaved our parents with duets all mingled up to heaven against servitude. We sing freedom bound with dimes hoarded by pinching francs and pounds. This gift's pure gold. While we travel the road, we speak more than one tongue. Wherever we roam, we're singing in drei Sprachen und machen es schwarz. We're free twin sisters who've hauled our voices far. And the center poem starts. We're free twin sisters who've hauled our voices far, from plantation to grave. Lord, here we are, two women singing truths we can't forget, born of and beyond the flesh. We are just spent with awe. We hymn to pay soft homage, grown from hard labor that made our mothers shout, budding twin blooms of song. We're a doubled rose. We're fused in blood and body. From one thrummed stem, beating our heart's syncopated tempo, we ride the wake of each other's rhythm. To ride the shared wake of one blood's rhythm. I love this burden that we've been given. I love my song and dance and family. With every breath we've got, I'm filled completely in a way very few could comprehend. Airborne, shook, and shimmering through my head. One body, crooning two notes. By God, we are here. This is our story. I want you to hear.